I thank you, Taylor. Life comes in circle. When I was a volunteer for our school, I used to teach this kid to plant vegetables. He was a little kid like that. And look at him now. Now it comes after 40 years. Viola, I used to teach gardening and teach Bible. Now she's right here. See, I was impressed. But what life brings to us. As a matter of fact, I thank Rita, my good friend who comes. She is a TV personality, a writer, and she wants to hear me preach. Filipinos have a hard time speaking English because it's not our language. But Americans, if they try to speak Tagalog and preach, I don't know how they can do it. But thank you for your presence this morning. It's an honor and a privilege. To me, I finished theology and teaching. But the most serious job I ever do, brothers and sisters, is to preach before you. Because it's very serious, the Word of God. I always pray that it's God's Word that will speak through me, not mine. Get my ego down, whatever it is. I could prepare and prepare and prepare. And yet, I let God work through me.
Amen.
In fact, the first time the pastor asked me to preach, I thought I would preach, what is in your hand? And then, I thought I would preach Psalms 23. While I was looking through my Bible and reading it, I'm telling you, suddenly my eyes get hurt from allergy. The devil is working very hard to stop me from preaching. I said, no way. No way you could stop me. And I was reading through my research. I was going through Psalms 23, which is one of my favorite books in the Bible.
Amen.
My telephone ring. And you know what? My student in the Bible, a classmate of Yuli, sent me a message. And could you imagine? He is now a retired minister.
Amen. Hallelujah.
I couldn't believe it. And he told me stories. I didn't even think about it, brothers and sisters. I tell you.
God will make a way. God will make a way. That's all right. Go ahead.
Let me drink my water. The allergy is getting me. So he told me a long story. He said, when you were teaching us,
Amen.
I saw him. His name is Edra Adap. He's in Gloria. You know what Gloria? In Mindoro, a small town. Poor people, all farmers, struggling to make a living. And yet, they did their best to send their kids to school.
Amen.
I saw him as a young man, very quiet, but very smart. And I didn't even know that impressed me what I taught him. Because 40 years ago, brothers and sisters, our teaching was about salvation by work. That was the teaching. And a new minister, I was just finished college. Our teaching grows slowly. So I told them that it's not by our works, but the grace of God that saves us. I make it just a shortcut. But we went into the process, and we keep studying it. And I didn't even know that it impressed in the hearts of this little kid. I think, how old do you think, Bioli? How old do you think? About 15? Or 11? Or I don't know. But a young man.
Amen.
And I couldn't tell you all the stories, but it's I could even make a whole sermon of his messages to me. And while I was reading it, brothers and sisters, so the message is, little kids, you treat them right. But I'll go through my main subject today. And while I was sitting down there, this morning, I got a text. You see, I preach like Paul, but I was also a businessman. I'm also a businessman and a politician. And as a businessman, I have rental properties. And I always have issues. My tenants, they always fight. They always fight. And you know, as a Seventh-day Adventist, you never end up being a minister or a Bible worker. Because these people, one is a Christian, the other one is not. And it's a Buddhist, this is a Muslim. So they had a fight. So I told him, give them a letter, give them a card, give them a cake, whatever you do. And he said, yeah, we did, but they threw away the cake. I said, but you did it right. Because if you do it right, your heart is right. And there's nothing wrong about it. You're a Christian. So, I have a minister who preach. And one day he retired. He said, now you know, I passed through this life, and the river is dry. But after so many years, I see trees growing, tall trees. So, in about 60 years, we see things like that in our lives. So never get discouraged. Brother Taron, he played football game. He made good money. Here is a group Christian. Amen. Because he loved God more than money. Praise the Lord. Amen. The Lord is our shepherd.
Yes, He is.
I shall not want.
Amen.
When we were trained as ministers, I used to have a tent. You know what tent effort is? We go outside in the barrios, and we preach. And one preacher was preaching. I was just a student. And he was talking about heaven and the beauty of heaven.
Amen.
He was describing heaven as a beautiful place. But he said, there was no night there. He was reading the book of Revelation.
Amen.
And he saw a lady crying at the back. I said, why are you crying? He said, because he said, there's no night over there, and my name is Rebecca Knight. Brothers and sisters, even in our preaching, sometimes we have only 2 or 3 people. But still, we think that angels are there.
They are.
I was not a Seventh-day Adventist. My parents and my grandparents were all Catholics. In fact, my great-grandfather was a Castilian. He would make a sermon in the morning and in the evening. We're all Catholics. But one day, the Lord called me. I was only 14 when I met Seventh-day Adventists in the school of the Protestant people.
Amen.
Protestant denominations, and every day we would discuss about religion. Without me knowing, I was on the side of the Seventh-day Adventists. We went to PUC, worked so hard, digging ditches, and I know the Lord has called me
Amen.
for His cause.
Hallelujah.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. What are the qualities of a good shepherd? Kindness, loving, patient,
Patience.
forgiving,
Amen.
all the rest of the qualities.
Amen.
That is our shepherd. I shall not want. You have nothing to worry about anything. What do you have to worry about anything? I shall not want.
Amen.
You want a car? Go learn you a car. But still, you want fancy cars. That's where the problem is.
Amen.
You want food, but you want more steak, which is not good for you.
Amen.
You want a boyfriend, but he's not Seventh-day Adventist. Or vice versa. The Lord provides us.
Yes, He does.
I shall not want.
Amen.
He guided me to the green pasture. You see, a shepherd, before he goes to the field, a good shepherd, he would even look into that place. And he would pick up all the herbs that were poisonous. You know that? He would pick them up, one by one, before he would bring his sheep to that place. And that's what the Lord does to us. He brings us to the right place. But you know what happened? We choose our own green pasture. Right? We are not contented with God's pasture. We want our own pasture. And what happens? Sickness, disease, and all kinds of problems in our family. Let me read this because this is one of my favorite subjects.
Amen.
He leads me beside the quiet waters. He restores my soul. Though he walks through the valley of the shadow of death,
Amen.
I shall not fear no evil.
No evil.
So even if we walk through the shadow of death, we shall not fear no evil. We had been married for 52 years with my wife. I thank God. We are not perfect, but we manage.
Amen.
One day, because she has diabetes, we took her twice to emergency. The third time that happened to her, she was dying in my arms, literally. Never happened. It took about an hour for the medics to restore her for health. After that, I asked her, honey, how did you feel when you were in the shadow of death?
All right, go ahead. It's all right. Yes, it's all right. And no, it's not. Oh, yeah.
How do you feel that? When your wife is dying in your arms.
Hard to explain.
I didn't even know how to use my telephone. I don't even know how to use 911, brothers and sisters. No, I don't know.
Amen.
I just ask the Lord, thy will be done.
Go ahead. Preach on.
And he comes me down.
Yes, you will.
And he comes me down.
Glory to God. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Trust in
So after that, I asked her personally. I said, honey, how do you feel when you're in the shadow of death? She said, I was calm, quiet, and I saw beautiful stars. Wow! Oh, wow. That is personal, brothers. That's not theory in the Bible anymore.
Amen.
Nobody could say that. This is real life to me.
Amen.
In the shadow of death, you're calm, beautiful feeling. You know what he said to me? Honey, I love you. Goodbye. Wow! What did I say? I said, God, Lord, thy will be done. That's all I said. In the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art in me. A good shepherd brings out with his long, with staff. There's a purpose for that.
Amen.
You see, in the Palestine, there are valleys and there are hills, and there are precipices. Sometimes the sheep would go down and could not get up, and his staff will bring it down and bring the sheep one up. That's what he does to us. We're in trouble.
Amen.
We're in trouble, nothing else. God's hand is there to bring us back again.
Amen.
Brothers, that's the beauty about God.
Amen.
Remember that. It doesn't matter how bad we come down and a precipice of our lives.
Amen.
And he brings us back again.
Lord.
Normal again.
Yes, he will.
Isn't that the beauty about? Some theologians make a theology very complicated. The Lord knows. Simple one. If you come to me with faith, I'll bring you back again and realize. That's how simple theology is. By His grace and His love, He'll bring us back again.
Yes, he will. Preach.
It doesn't matter who you are.
There you go.
Don't make it complicated, brothers and sisters.
Amen.
We have, you know what? We were very close. There were 49 of us in high school in our old PUC back in the Philippines. In this group of students, 49 of us, they were the smartest kids, I'm telling you.
Amen.
I'll tell you why. Because about 50 of us, half are doctors and half are nurses.
Amen.
And I was the pastor with the smartest kids.
Amen.
So we have this member. Now, you know what? I'm a minister now online because I'm ministering all these people online. And there's very smart people. Some of them drink a little liquor. You know what I mean? Some of them eat pork. You know what I mean? And some of them even started to have their own church. You know what I mean? And some of them are not even Adventist anymore. But you know what? After 60 years, we come down. So they called me up and said, Art, you know, I backslid from the Seventh-day Adventists. And all these ministers were lambasting me that I'm bad, that I'll not be saved. And I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, you would have 30 minutes online. Again, and they're smart people. So we never finished our ministry, brothers and sisters. I thought I would be done, but here again. So I have my online ministry with my group of people, smartists. They are scientists with their own specialties, MDs. God will use us in different ways.
Yes, he will. Amen.
Believe me. Naomi knows where we live. I was involved in politics. I thought I would be constrained in politics, but I thought, oh, well, you know, my family is number one. So I kind of slowed down in that. But in the neighborhood where we live, we have the smartest people. We have judges, lawyers, businessmen, Jew, whatever. And the city, by God's help, anointed me.
Amen.
And maybe officially made me as the mayor of that neighborhood.
Amen.
I'm the best thing that God gave me, being a minister. But God, so when we have problem in a neighborhood, they come to me. I got to City Hall and settle it. So God uses in different ways.
Yes, he does.
in all what we do in our lives. Brothers, don't think that you are no good, that you're nothing. He'll use us in different ways. Now, our job is not over yet. Because no matter how we do, whether we go to the Philippines and do missionary work, maybe you touch somebody's heart in there. Maybe you didn't even know what you do. You see, what we do, we don't even think about it.
Amen.
But one day, it comes back to us. And the Lord will use us in different ways.
Yes, He will.
When I was a little kid, by the way, because we're not Seventh-day Adventists, I didn't even know that these people were coming around to our little barrio were Seventh-day Adventists. But we're Catholics. They didn't even tell me they were Seventh-day Adventists. That they taught us beautiful songs. Now I remember that we were Seventh-day Adventists. But I didn't even think about it when I was about 5 years old. They were just giving us songs and beautiful songs and the love of God. You are giving bread around, right? To the homeless. You didn't think about it. But you don't know that you have touched the heart of some people in there. In our lives.
Amen.
One day, a brother came to me. He's a scientist. After 50 years, he told me, he said, you know, brother, my father was an ex-army man. And you were the one who brought him to Christ. I didn't even know about that. So you see, we sometimes think that we are not doing anything. But God will use us. Whether you play basketball, you work in your office, or are giving bread outside, or giving leaflets, or maybe in the city hall where you work, you touch somebody's heart.
Amen.
In our lives.
Amen.
Yeah. So we are really ministers in our lives every day. In every field that we do.
Amen.
Don't fool yourself. You think only ministers do the work? Your job is more important than the ministers because your life shines brighter than anybody where you work and where you are. And then the last word, I read again because I think the time is running out. This is such a beautiful message we have. My head, you anoint my head with oil. See? You anoint my head with oil. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me in the days of my life.
Amen.
And I dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Amen.
I got a call one day. My mother-in-law was dying. This is awful. And I don't know what to do. So I run and get my Bible. And I read Psalms 23. I saw her smiling peacefully. If you are down, down in the gutter, or even in the shadow of death, you'll be at peace with the Lord. May the blessing of the Lord be ours today. Amen.